Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you guys are doing fantastic out there. In this video today, you can see that I'm driving my vehicle. I am heading out to film a single-person survival overnighter challenge video. Now, in the video, I am going to use only the items from this single-person lone wolf survival kit that I picked up at my local Walmart for about $20. If there comes an emergency where I need anything, whether it's first aid, whether it's bedding, water, food, anything of that nature, fire making, I do have all of those items in the vehicle. And in the event that I have to rely on those items, I will definitely show it in this video. But those items are for emergency only. So I'm gonna do my best to take a look at this kit and see if it has the provisions to get me through the night and halfway through tomorrow. And I had to take a layer off. It's 67 degrees outside and it was just warm with the 3 layers. I have a t-shirt, I have this little blue sweatshirt, and then I had that little light duty coat. I'm out on my land. My objective is to go down to those trees down there in the bottom of the canyon, and that's where I'm planning to do my survival overnighter. But before I get started, I have to take off all my EDC. My wallet, all my stuff. I am going to be bringing this with me. This has some camera batteries. It has a power bank so I can recharge the camera, stuff like that. So let's take a look at the EDC that I dropped. So there's my wallet, there's my Olight arc feld, Olight splint, my EDC firearm, my concealed carry, extra magazine, and a lighter. So that's everything that I had in my pockets. I changed my mind about one item that I will take with me. That's my magazine and my firearm. Sometimes when I come out here, I do run into wildlife. I've seen bobcats out here. I've seen javelina. I've seen footage on my game cams of mountain lions in the area. And on occasion, I see some wild dogs in the area. And once in a while, you'll get somebody driving out here on these roads, just out joyriding. They might be drinking or something like that. So just for preparedness. I feel much better now. Just for the sake of transparency, this is what's inside this kit. I have 3 batteries, a charger, a cable, and another battery bank with my kit and my coat. And it sounds like it's starting to get a little bit windy. So let's get down there and let's get started. I'm excited about this challenge. Right now I'm looking for a good area to call it a night. A lot of this bedrock that you see, it soaks up the sun during the day and it would stay warm at night. But the downside to this area is there's a lot of wind that comes through. So that's why I'm gonna try to hunker down in the bottom of the canyon. One of the drawbacks about coming downhill, down into this little bit of a canyon and being close to the water, if there's water down here, is being near the water always attracts wildlife because they come in to drink too. So that could be interesting. We're definitely going to find out how it plays out. Kind of coming up with a mental game plan, taking mental notes of things that I see, resources that might be available. I see a lot of wood here. Obviously, I'm probably not going to be building a shelter or anything. It's too late in the day for all of that. And it's too much of a calorie expenditure, in my opinion. We're just kind of looking around. There's some elk droppings right there, right by my foot. It's sandy down here. Now this is kind of interesting for a potential shelter. It's got a little bit of cover. There's some green grass, and I just heard some doves or something fly off. A lot of wood and stuff down here. But what I'm looking for is water, to be completely honest. So I'm just kind of going on a recon, taking a look. Look at those beautiful flowers. Isn't God amazing? He gives us such beauty to look at. What a gift. What a blessing this is. I just want to know if there's water. Not that I plan on using it or drinking it, but then again, I might need to. So it's always good to, in my opinion anyway, to know where the potential resources are. I'm seeing a lot of grass here that's dead. This is like natural bedding right here. This would be like laying in hay. This would be a really nice area to sleep. Now there's this little man-made dam right here. And on the downside of this man-made dam, you can see there's a lot of water. So if I need drinking water, I have just found a solution. That would be perfect for survival to drink. I know it doesn't look like the best water source, but beggars can't be choosers when it comes to survival. And in the event that I run out of water from my survival pack, that's what we're going to be dealing with. I'm going to go over this direction, hike down, and I'm going to get down to that far tree down there, this one off in the distance. I'm going to take a look at that area, and that might be where I call it a night. I'm not 100% sure, but that's something definitely worth looking at. And of course, as I'm reconning my way around, I'm noticing this wild plant here. This is fantastic for making tea. This is Mormon tea. So in the event that I use some water to make tea, this gives me vitamin C, vitamin A. So this is good stuff here. So I'm just keeping a mental note of that Mormon tea grove right there. Now we made it to the bottom of the water. You can see obviously this is a stagnant water. It's got a film on the top, but don't let that discourage you. In the event of a survival situation, this is a gold mine. And as I'm making my way over here, I noticed that 2 of my game cams are still intact and they're still functioning. I'm not going to disclose where they are. Now I'm walking down here because I want to see if there's more water. I'm thinking that there will be. I noticed right there is some more Mormon tea there. Paying attention down here for the tracks. Looks like something's been in there. It could be them wild dogs. If I feel like doing any rock climbing, it's right there. And I see one of my other game cams, so that's number 3. Good. I'm happy about that. Still intact. Good, good, good. Looks like there might be a little pack rat going on down in here. I like this area. It's pretty well covered. It's a slope though, so I wouldn't want to sleep down here. One thing that I notice about pack rats is when they put things near their hole, they always love finding cactus And if you look right here where I'm poking, they always put cactus and stuff near their hole, near their opening. They do that to probably discourage things from getting inside of their little hole. So that's interesting. There's a lot of prickly pear out here, but unfortunately there's no fruit right now on the prickly pear. It's out of season. Look at how pretty that rock is. And then I also noticed right there, I think that's a species of chert, that rock there. That could make fire if you have a high carbon object, which I don't have, but it's just good to keep a mental log of things like that you find out on your land. Oh, there's game cam number 4. Good deal. Boy, I'm good at hiding those things. So there's some wild dog or either that or coyote droppings. And I'm also noticing right there and right there, that looks like antelope footprints. Now we're getting into some more water, and I'm noticing that the water is getting cleaner. So that's always a good sign. This is much better drinking water than that previous stuff that we were looking at. And then over here, dropping down, there's my spa. So if you guys want to come to the Jiu-Jitsu 2000 spa, that's it right there, folks. And then of course, look at this water down here. Yeah, I just saw a frog jump in. That water's much cleaner. I can actually see inside of it. So I think this might be my location. I didn't want to be dealing with that super stagnant water. This stuff looks a lot better. So maybe over there where them trees are. I don't want to go too far away from the truck. So I think I might call it a night here. Birds flying around. This is just a beautiful place. The camera just doesn't justify how beautiful this area is out here. It's really spectacular in person. I'm always prepared to see wildlife when I come in here. Wouldn't be the first time that I've seen something. Yeah, this water here looks wonderful. I know that some of you might be saying, "You're crazy." Maybe I am. I hear a bird. All right, well, I'm down where I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna take a look at this kit and see what's included here. Food and water. There's 3 emergency waters. They are 4.22 fluid ounces, 124.8 milliliters each. So 3 of them at 4.2, that's 12, almost 13 ounces of water. There's 1 emergency food bar, which will give you 400 calories. Then there's a first aid section. There's 5 sheer bandages. There's a face mask, 1 triangular bandage, 1 emergency disaster guide. There is 1 emergency blanket in here, Mylar blanket, 84 inches by 52 inches. And then under light and communication, there is 1 emergency whistle with lanyard and 2 12-hour bright sticks. And then under tools and other, there's a 4-in-1 buckle, which has a compass, a flint, a striker, and another whistle. That's what I was looking at there. Lone Wolf 1-person 1-day survival kit, 20 pieces, U.S. Coast Guard approved. You know, this is something that you would think is good for emergencies, right? And then they have a zip tie on here, so before you can even get the thing open, you have to figure out a way to get this zip tie. And I don't have a knife or anything on me, so I'm gonna have to find a rock or something. What I should have done is hung on to that piece of chert when I saw it, but I didn't, so I'm gonna try to cut this thing off using this rock here. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. It's kind of crazy that you got to do this just to open a survival kit. It would have been a good idea for anybody out there that bought one of these kits. Just keep that in mind and cut that off ahead of time, I would suggest. I think they just put that on there so that people don't shoplift the items out of these kits in the store. Ah, good, I just broke it. There we go. That's what I had to remove. Now I can open this kit and look at all the contents and see what my strategy needs to be for this video. Okay, now we're to the moment of truth. Let's go ahead and disconnect that buckle. There's nothing left in the package. On the buckle itself, looks like I have a little scraper that could serve as a very light duty knife. That looks pretty nice. And then right in the center of the buckle, there's a little ferro rod right there. That's cool. How's it? Is it gonna make a spark? Is it gonna work? Yeah, it does. So that's cool. You got a little ferro rod, you got a whistle here, and a little button compass. Let's hear this whistle and see what it sounds like. Okay, not too bad. Maybe 50 decibels or something. Let's go ahead and open this kit. I'm very curious at what's included here in this kit. And to be completely honest with you, I'm a little bit thirsty after that hike. Looks like everything's packaged well. I might even find that food bar while we're here. Okay. So let's take a look at this dry sack first. Not too bad. Not bad. I mean, it's light duty. It's very inexpensive. I'm guessing that it holds maybe 1.5 liters, quart and a half or something. And so you could get some water, haul your water with it. You could even stone boil your water in here if you had to. Hopefully it'll hold water. I don't know if it will or not. 2 bright sticks. And again, it said that they were 12 hours a piece. So that's kind of nice having those. You know, we might use one of them later. A Mylar blanket, emergency blanket. That's always nice. 84 inches by 52 inches. Those are a lifesaver. I'm glad that they put that in there. Triangular bandage. There's 2 safety pins in there as well. This is a sterile, non-sterile, non-woven. 40 inch by 40 inch by 56 inch. So this could be used for a lot of things. I'm trying to see if it's cotton or what material it's made out of. It doesn't specify. There's some Band-Aids. Looks like 5 of them. In case you get a boo-boo. That's kind of cool. Face mask. You never know. I might need to drive with my mask on in my car. I'm a lot safer if I wear a mask. Emergency disaster guide. Let's see here. Food. Okay, water. Oh, this is cool. Emergency supply checklist. Let me get serious though for a second. This mask is actually a good thing to have in this kit. I am jesting when I say wearing this in the car and all that. That is a joke. But this could be used as a pre-filter for water. So you could open this up and pour your water through and collect your water if this will hold the water, and you'll get rid of all the heavy stuff out of the water using this pre-filter. Okay, so this is cool. Emergency supply checklist. Water, 1 gallon per person for at least 3 days. I don't know about that. I try to say half of your body weight in ounces per day, not per 3 days. Food, 3-day supply of non-perishable food. They're just giving you suggestions, I guess, of things to take. Face mask for dust to help, filter contaminated air. Eyeglasses, extra clothes, important documents, sleeping bag. That would be a good idea. Ham radio or a first aid kit, flashlight and extra batteries, whistle, which they do include another whistle with a P in it. It's a little P whistle. So we'll take a look at that. Wrench. or pliers to turn off utilities if needed. Fire extinguisher, household bleach. We'll come back to the bleach and talk about that in a second. Personal hygiene stuff, sanitation stuff, such as moist towelettes, garbage bags, plastic ties, etc. Local maps or a GPS system on your cell phone. Well, as we know in this video, I left my cell phone in the vehicle. Paper and pencil. That way you can write your love notes or your last will and testament, whichever you choose to write down. Matches in a waterproof case, which I do not have. This is a wimpy whistle. I squeezed it and it just about broke. Cash, traveler's check and change. Okay, cool. Cash ain't gonna do me no good out here except for burning in the fire. Household bleach and a medicine dropper. When diluted, 9 parts water to 1 part bleach equals a disinfectant. In an emergency, you can use it to treat water using 6 drops per gallon. Now let me break that down. 6 drops per gallon. I think that's a little weak actually, because I do between 2 and 4 drops per quart or liter. So it takes 4 quarts to make a gallon. So that could be up to 16 drops per gallon if the water is really dirty. If the water is clean, you know, clear looking water, and you've had it pre-filtered, then that would be as little as 8 drops. But they're saying here 6 drops per gallon. That's a little thin. I don't know if that would actually disinfect the water effectively. General checklist. I don't know, it's just kind of a neat little survival guide there. Gives you some information. Emergency disaster guide. I think it's cool. Definitely something worth talking about. Let's take a listen to this whistle. This is about as cheap as they come. Definitely louder than that other whistle. This is good if you have to warn a predator in your area. Something like that. Now let's not forget the international signal for SOS is 3 bursts. So here we have a couple things that are neat. We have a Ziploc bag. We'll be very careful with that. And SOS emergency drinking water packs. Drink minimum of 2 bags per person per day for marine emergencies. Drink water as needed for land-based emergencies. Avoid conditions which cause sweating or increased thirst. Well, I've already failed at that because I hiked all the way over here. Discard bag of air, or excuse me, if air or water escapes when squished. SOS Food Lab, made in Florida. Pretty cool, and it has an expiration date down there on the bottom, 5 of 25. That's kind of cool. This is approved by the U.S. Coast Guard. Again, this is 4.22 ounces. Okay, so let's go ahead. I am thirsty, so I'm gonna just go ahead and take one of these. I like these bags. They remind me of like the little metal Capri Sun bags. There you go. Look inside there. There's some emergency water. That's what emergency water looks like. Let's take 4 ounces, 4.2 ounces. Wow, that tastes like distilled water or something. It tastes very sterile. So I like these little bags because if you have a fire, you can put water in these, and as long as the flames aren't touching the bag, you can hang them over, and it might take a little time, but that heat, you can boil water in these bags if you had to. Boy, that was 4 ounces and that was quick. Oh, wow. Didn't go far, did it? So I have 2 more of those. So I have another 8.4 ounces. Then I have a bag. So I've got a few bags here. This dry bag is going to be important. I don't know if it's going to be able to hold water, and hopefully it will. It does have a plastic kind of coating on the inside, so fingers are crossed that it'll hold water. If it don't, we do have this. And as long as we have sunlight, if we were to put water in this, we could make the water safer to drink through a process called SODIS, which is solar disinfection. And that's where it uses the ultraviolet light from the rays of the sun to purify the water. But you have to have a clear container to put it in. You couldn't do that with this. You need that ultraviolet light. I want to take a look at this food bar. New Millennium Energy Bar Vanilla, 400 calories, low sodium food bar. Ingredients: sugar, palm oil, whole wheat flour, cornstarch, wheat flour. Doesn't sound very healthy, and it's actually 410 calories, so that's cool for the whole bar. I'm gonna try it and see what it tastes like. This material that they put this bar in is also another package that you could save as another water container if you had to. Okay, so let's see if we can squeeze that bar up out of there. Huh, looks interesting. It also has an expiration date of 12 of 2025. It was made in 12 of 2020. Wow. Interesting. So if you're going to be out for a long period of time, probably use this for bait for a snare or bait for a deadfall to catch some real meat. Interesting. Kind of a bland flavor, to be honest with you. 2.95 ounces. Not very tasty. They say vanilla, but yeah, it's very vanilla, very plain. So now you've seen everything that's in the kit. There's not a lot in this kit. This bandage could be used as a blanket or a ground cover or something to lay on. This is excellent. Bandages, good to have. So there's a few things when you think about the 5 C's of survivability: cutting tool, combustion device, cover, cordage, container. Do we have a cutting tool? We kind of have a cutting tool. A very, very cheap one. And when I say cutting tool, I'm saying like make a bow drill set or something like that for fire. We have something, so that's better than nothing. Would I call that a cutting tool? Yes, I would. In a survival situation, yes, I would count that. Now, combustion device, yes, we do. Very small. Not much to it. It's a little ferro rod. Cover, do we have cover? Yes, we do. Do we have cordage? If you want to call that cordage, then go for it. It's not paracord, but 24 inches of junk. I don't even think that would hold up for a bow drill string. It would probably be good for tying shelter up. So cutting tool, combustion device, cover, cordage, container. If this will hold water, then yes, we have a emergency container. We do have a compass, so that's cool. And we do have candling device in a way. So we got a couple extra C's there. Pretty limited, honestly, on this kit. And for $20, it's a little overpriced in my opinion for what you're getting. So I figured I would eat about half of this bar now, and it kind of makes you thirsty. I mean, it's cool that you're getting calories, but it makes you thirsty. And if you only have 12 ounces of water there, that's not enough water. I mean, I drink a lot of water every day, but hey, it's better than nothing, right? So that's basically everything you get. Not much in there. Keep my whistle close in case the boogeyman comes. Let's hear this other one again. Boy, that cookie is real dry. Okay, I'm gonna blow this one pretty hard, so heads up. Let's blow this one hard. Heads up. Yeah, this is definitely a better whistle. But for sound, but quality is junk. You drop this, it's gonna break. This one, even though it's not as loud, it's made out of a tougher material, a tougher kind of plastic. Ferro rod, I'm not sure. I mean, it throws a spark, but it is literally for survival. I will say that I'm confident that I would get a fire with that little ferro rod if I had to. And the button compass, I don't think it's very accurate because the sun is over here. It's in the afternoon. That's west. So it's telling me that that is east. Straight behind me is west. But really, west is more off of an angle behind me. South is directly towards you, towards the camera, and north is directly that way. This is not accurate at all. The compass is pretty much trash, honestly. It's not even accurate at all. Compass, that thing's a joke. Now, this little emergency disaster guide, it is kind of cool, actually. It's good reading material. It tells you checklists for earthquakes, fires, tornadoes, and hurricanes. Make sure everyone knows how to call 911. I'm serious, it says that right there. I guess they're referencing maybe if you got little kids in the house or something. But you know, stuff like this is good in a survival situation because it'll keep your mind occupied at something rather than the situation that you might be in. And when you can activate your mind, it can really save your life. I'm looking down here by my knee and I see a snake shed right there. So a snake came through here, probably a water snake or something, and shed his skin. Kind of cool. Interesting. This area is just full of life out here. I love it out here. It's beautiful. That food bar, it's got a little bit of sweetness to it. I'm going to put these water pouches in here. Just to kind of keep this stuff contained a little bit. In the event that I got to pack up and go quickly, I don't want to be trying to grab everything. This is a cool little kit though, honestly. Got to be careful because the footing here, there's a little frog. Footing here is a little bit sketchy. Now I want to see if this thing will hold water. The frog is right there, hiding underneath the water. I love it when I see life out here. Okay, is it going to hold water? I hope so. Very good so far. Okay. Yeah, I think it's doing all right. Well, it's leaking. So, just like what I mentioned earlier, that's a little disappointing, honestly. When you get a dry sack, it's supposed to be a dry sack. But the fact that it's kind of leaking, hey, it is what it is. Gosh, you could turn that into a shower if you needed to. Hang this thing up and take a shower. I know some of you might think I'm crazy to say this, but if it was a dire situation, if it was a big time survival situation, you could drink this water. You're still going to be at risk. I'm not saying that it's safe to do so. I'm saying it's safer than the source water that we came from. Even though we're only filtering through material to take out microscopic pathogens that might exist in the water, it will make the water safer than it was had you not went through something. So even if you use that little mask to put your water through it and drink it, I'm going to be very clear, you're still at risk of getting sick. But in my opinion, in a survival situation, it would be better to be found alive and sick and hydrated because you drank the water rather than dead because you died of dehydration. So in my opinion, I would drink that water all day long if it was a survival situation. Now I know that this is just a video. I know that it's not a real survival situation, but I come out here quite often and I drink this water all the time. And even though it looks really sketchy and I'm still at risk, it's a risk that I'm willing to take, you know, when it comes to hydration. Now I'm looking over there and I'm seeing the frog. Let me see if I can get you a glimpse of him. I know some of you are probably going to say that I'm crazy. Okay, look for my finger there. There's the frog right there. Some of you might think that I'm crazy for drinking a little sip of this water, and maybe I am. Look at that guy right there. Ain't that cool? But I hope you got the gist of what I was actually trying to say there. Going through a coffee filter or a t-shirt, you know, because before all these water filters and hollow fiber membrane filters and stuff like that became really popular, what we would do is we would take the water and we would pre-filter it. A lot of times we would use our t-shirt, then we would boil the water. Now since this thing leaks, it leaks kind of slow. So I think if I had a fire and I had some stones in the fire and I got the water and put the stones in there, I could stone boil in this container and purify the water. I've done that in plastic bags before. So this is not terrible. And that little bit of water that I did consume, it was filtered, but it wasn't purified, of course, right? It just, it made the chances of getting sick less, if that makes sense. So I just want to be crystal clear that nobody's misunderstanding me. I am not saying go out there and drink the water when you're out just playing around. In a survival situation is when I would drink that water. Absolutely. I'm going to be found alive, not dead from dehydration. So that's why I look at this water source and I see it as a gift. So you see all these little things swimming around in the water, just filtering through this little bag. It takes a lot of those things out, even though it's not down to a 0.1 micron, right? I don't know what the tolerance is on this. It's very, very large compared to the size of what those pathogens are. But hey, it lessens the risk. If you guys knew some of the things that I've done in survival, you probably would think I'm just crazy. Now I'm looking at some of these stones and some of these rocks, and there's some good rocks that could be useful for many things. Like this little flat stone right here. You could use a little stone like that to cook on. Something like this, or maybe even this one here, you could use those for a deadfall, or even the one right here. Something like this. These kind of stones would be good deadfall stones. So it's pretty cool, the resources that I'm seeing out here. It's time to relax, and what I'm looking at up in the sky, let me show you. It's pretty cool. I've got the moon and I've got an airplane flying. That's a pretty cool view that I'm looking at right now. But I'm just resting, relaxing, getting a feel for the ground where I'm at, and it's really comfortable. A nap would do me a lot of good right now. I might even do that. The wind's kicking up. It just feels really nice right here. It's such a cool feeling. I'm so relaxed right now. Wow, it's beautiful out here. Clear blue skies. I can smell the grass of the area that I'm laying in. Honestly, folks, I don't have a care in the world right now. I'm in my element. I'm loving it. I'm just absolutely loving it out here. When I was playing with the water earlier, that water was really cool to the touch and it felt good. It's pretty neat how evaporative cooling, you know, when you touch water and it gets on your skin and the wind blows, how it just cools you down. It's such a comfortable feeling. It's amazing. It's just another gift that we're given from God. It's amazing. You know, as I'm laying here and I'm relaxing, I'm thinking that this will be a good place for me to sleep tonight. I really like it here. It's comfortable. I will be aware of animals coming in, you know, in the night for a drink. I'll just stay alert. I'll have my little chem light going probably, but I'm so relaxed. I hear the birds. I'm looking up at the rock up here and I see a bunch of little tiny barrel cactuses about 3/4 of the way up. What a beautiful area this is. It's amazing. Life is good, folks. Now right over here on the other side, I see some thistle. That's a good wild edible food source. Look at how difficult it would be to get. You'd have to like hike up around over here and then come on down to get it. But it's there. Thistle is kind of difficult to eat. It has these little thorns and stuff on it. And then as I come up over here to this other side, I noticed these little barrel cactuses, these little guys right here. They're pretty cool. But right up here, this is more thistle. So this is, again, a wild edible plant. And if you get that hard up where you got to eat that, you can boil it and it'll taste a lot less bitter. Right here you got these little pods. These are good sources of tinder. They're like a flash type tinder, so you could use that for fire making. But it's just really nice to have some of these resources out here that you can look at, and just to identify yourself with these things, that you know what you have out there. It's kind of nice. These little barrel cactuses are pretty cute. I laid down earlier and I got a pretty good little nap in. I thought I would see about making a fire. Now, I don't need a fire out here. I'm really just more than anything wanting to test this little ferro rod and see if it's capable of actually making something for me. And there we go. So it is possible. Let's get it up over on itself and put some of this stuff on there. Some of these smalls. It did work. Of course, I had good preparation of materials as far as my tinder pile. I had some really good grass and stuff, so fire is definitely possible if you have some skill. So I just seen the little garden snake. He just went under that rock there. He had to find himself a place to hide. I was getting some firewood and I saw him. Ain't it funny how they can hide in such little places? But that was kind of cool. There's a lot of firewood right here. So this is nice. All this wood is dead. You don't really have to process much. Just collect it. Get it over to the fire. Okay. This is a big piece of wood. So we're going to take this over to the fire. Hopefully no more snakes. There's a lizard. So we'll just let that go. And I like these natural divots in the rock because they're like a natural fire pit. They're like a natural hearth. So it's really nice. Now if I would have been able to catch that snake earlier, I might have been able to have supper. I just love coming out here. I get away from the rat race of life. I get away from my cell phone. It's turned off and it's in my truck. I get away from, I hate to say this, but people. I can only take so much of people sometimes. You got some good people in your life that are always building you up, and then you have other people that might be good people, but they seem to drain you, to drain your you'll be happy or something, and then you'll hear from them and it just demoralizes your mood. So that's why I love coming out to places like this, because for me it's really like a therapy. I get to breathe fresh air, I get to be alone, I get to be clear in my thoughts, I get to be one with Mother Nature, one with God. I get to come out here, and because of the fresh air and the no contact with human life, I get to think clearly as a result of that. So many times you get interacting with people and they just rob you of your peace. When I come out like this, I don't feel like that. It's really like pushing a big reset button for me when I come out like this. I get to practice some of my skills. I get to play with some things, you know, like that kit. And ultimately, I get to push that reset button, because life ain't easy. Some things are hard. Life is tough. And that's why I always say getting out is a good solution. It's not all of the solution, and it's not the answer all the time or every time, but the majority of the time, at least for me, it's a very good reset for me. So if you guys aren't getting out and loving Mother Nature and seeing wildlife and having some form of relaxation, some sort of nature therapy, I highly recommend that you try it at least once in your life, because I know the benefits that I've gained as a result of this kind of experience, and the list of examples and positive reasons of why and what it does for me is, the list just goes on and on and on. I couldn't sit here and say them all in a single video, but the positive benefits are just endless. So it's a good time to come out and think. If you got a problem, or if you got something that you're trying to find a solution for, maybe you're trying to build something and you don't know how many boards you need, or, you know, it just gives you a place where you can channel all of your energy and focus on one thing, whatever it is in your life. Whether you're having problems with your kids, problems with your spouse, problems with your job, problems with politics, religion, whatever it is, you can come out. You don't have no other distractions. You can think clearly, and I'm telling you, it's very, very powerful. So using this little stick like a pointer, there's some coyote droppings right here in the grass where I picked out the grass to make my fire. So as I'm out here relaxing and finding peace, And I spoke earlier about how you can think clearly. There's something that came to my attention, and it's kind of embarrassing to admit. I'm going to get a little bit personal here for a minute with you guys to give you an example of what I mean when I say think clearly. My normal day-to-day life of being a YouTuber and trying to stay full-time on YouTube, it's a very, very hard thing to do. So I get lots of emails, I get tons of comments that I try to keep up with. I try to keep my videos coming out and good content that you guys love, and lots of video editing, and I get caught up in the rat race myself very much. And I'm thinking about all my loved ones, my family, my friends, and one particular person comes to mind, and it's a female friend that I've known over 35 years. Her mother passed away, and it's been extremely hard on her. And I didn't realize until coming out here on this trip that I have not once asked her how she's doing. I feel terrible about that, but it's true. And that's what I mean when I say, when you come out here and you have nothing, you can be an empty drawer, so to speak, in your mind, and you can think clearly. You don't have the rat race of life, you know, and it's easy to overlook things. And I think coming out on things like this and trips, and you get those realizations of things that might not be so pleasant for you to admit to yourself. But I can't think of anything in life growth-wise as an individual that happens when everything's hunky-dory. All the growth that I've experienced in my life, for the most part, has been through times of adversity. And just like this thought process that I shared with you, I realized that I hadn't really been supportive of one of my best friends in my whole life. So I'm thankful for reaching some clarity, some understanding, and holding myself accountable to something that is insignificant, but yet not insignificant. You know, she lost her mother, and I wasn't there. I mean, I was there, but I wasn't there, if that makes sense. Feeling to come out here and put all this wood on the fire, because I'm kind of cleaning up the landscape, and it's a good feeling. It's good for the landscape. It's good to leave some of the wood here, but it's also good to leave some of it in the fire. Clean it up. I got so warm I had to take my blue flannel off. I bet you I probably have 10 of those blue flannels. I had some comments came through one time. Somebody was asking me, thought that I was wearing the same shirt every day. No, I don't. That's funny though. It's funny that the person thought that. I love listening to the crackle and the sounds that the fire makes. It's so peaceful. Such a cool feeling and such a cool sound to listen to. There's my buddy the snake again, the little garden snake. Hey partner. Nope. I'm not gonna let you hide that quick. And I'm not gonna kill him. I'm just gonna let him stay because he does a lot of good things out here. There he goes. Ain't he beautiful? What a gift from God to have a little garden snake out here. So I'm looking at the sun, putting my fingers to the horizon, and I'm doing hand time. So each index of my finger is approximately 15 minutes. So as it appears, from what I can tell, looks like we have about 30 minutes of daylight left. This is just beautiful, beautiful landscape. And I got warm up there working, you know, getting all that wood and back and forth and walking and hiking, and then I had to pee, and I realized that my pee is a little bit a light colored yellow, so I'm starting to show little signs of dehydration. So I think what I'll do when I go back down, I think I'll drink one more of those packets of water, and I'll save the third one for tomorrow. You know, 12.6 ounces in total between those 3 packets, that's just not enough water for a day, in my opinion. Half of my body weight in ounces. If I'm about 200 pounds, I need 100 ounces of water, not 13. So if they were going to make any correction to that kit, or if you bought one of those kits and you wanted to add something to it to make it a better kit, I'd highly recommend more water. And if you don't have more water or packets available, maybe throw a little water filter in there, or some water treatment tablets, so that if you get to some water like this, you can still drink the water by using the tablets to purify the water. Now, I wouldn't suggest using water purification tablets for a long-term situation. Not at all. I don't think it's healthy for your body. But for short-term, I don't see a problem with it at all. This guy would not be fun to fall into. That would be terrible. But those spines, these little guys, they make excellent toothpicks. They really do. So sometimes I break them off and use them for toothpicks. And when this prickly pear out here has fruit, it's delicious. Didn't get a harvest of fruit this last year though. I don't know if it skipped a year or what, but I didn't get any. So I'm hoping for some next year. Folks, I hope you enjoyed that shot of the sun going down. That took about 2 hours from start to finish. So I'm gonna go ahead and head towards the darkness. I'm gonna head back to camp, and I'll probably break open one of those light sticks. I know that it's dark, but please bear with me. Well, here we are back at camp. Let's go ahead and bust open one of these light sticks. You're probably thinking, you don't really need it because you got a nice fire there, and you're right. I really don't. But I want to. I want to set one of these off. So these light sticks come with cordage. That is cool. It's almost like a ribbon, and it's about 3 feet long. So that's cool. I'm just going to shake this, pop that bad boy, and woohoo! Now we have light. We have chem light. We will be able to see for 12 hours. I have no idea what time it is, but wow, those are nice. And I love the fact that it has this cordage. I don't know if you can see it, but that is cool. So the chem lights are really cool. I like it. I'll just hook that here. I also have a container of water. I'm thirsty, so I'm gonna drink container number 2 of this water. And there was some interesting things that happened when I was doing that night warp. So I was looking at everything, I was observing things, and I saw a rabbit. So the rabbit went from across the small tiny little canyon all the way across. He actually went right in front of the camera. So it was kind of neat to be able to see that rabbit. That was a cool moment. So right as the sun was going down, that's when the rabbit went by. Let me go ahead and drink this water. It's only 4 ounces, so it shouldn't take long. I needed that. That is fantastic. Boy, it's amazing how good water tastes when you don't have enough water. That's crazy. These chem lights are nice. I like them. You can just hook that thing on anything you want. And I love that it came with cordage. So the rabbit went by. That was a cool thing. I got to see him go by. Then I started hearing coyotes. So the coyotes are out. They were hollering. So it was cool. Got back to camp here just now and had to find my way here. It was dark. And then luckily I still had coals here in the bedrock. I knew I would. That's the beauty about having bedrock out here, is you don't really have to worry too much about your fire. You know, it's all bedrock, so it's pretty safe to leave a fire somewhat unsupervised, I guess you could say. So it was a cool experience over there, and I'm glad that I'm back at camp. I got a little chilly, so I had to put my blue sweater back on, and I actually thought for a minute of putting my coat on, but now that I'm next to the fire, it's not that cold here. In the event that it gets cold, or whenever I decide to go to bed tonight, I have my coat, and that's what I'm going to be dealing with. I'm sitting on the ground right now. I didn't make a raised bed or anything like that. The temperatures tonight are supposed to be getting into the high 30s, so I should be good to go. That is a beautiful fire. So I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the fire and probably call it a night, folks. I'm going to relax. I'll probably lay down and get comfortable. I'm excited about the cordage because cordage is something that's fairly difficult to reproduce in the field. So if I needed to make a deadfall, maybe a Paiute or something like that, I have cordage to do that for the trigger. I think it's wonderful. Maybe to tie up a shelter or something like that. And they give you, like I said, that's probably 3 feet. That's a pretty good amount of cordage to get with the chem light. I didn't even know it came with it. So I'm happy about that. We'll talk at you in a little bit. I'm rambling now. I'm going to enjoy looking at the stars. I'm going to listen and see if I hear any coyotes calling. And it's funny because every time I turn the camera on to try to hear them, to let you guys hear them, they quit. I'm looking up in the sky and I'm seeing the stars. Stars are coming out. Oh my gosh, this is what life is about. I don't know if the camera is justifying that crescent moon there and the stars, but it is absolutely beautiful out here. This is what it's about. I've got my little chem light, got my whistle, my handgun, and got my coat. The fire feels great. I have a big log right here that I'm gonna put on right before I go to bed, and I think I'm gonna do that now, folks. I think I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna lay under the stars and I'm gonna relax. This is a big piece of wood, heavy, and it's hardwood, and it'll burn probably most of the night, probably all night. Actually, this is a big piece of wood. I love doing the long fire because during the night you can just keep shoving more wood in. I love long fires. Ain't that beautiful? Wow. As I lay next to this big log of juniper wood, I can feel the warmth of the rock underneath my body, and I can smell the wonderful sweet smell of juniper. Juniper and cedar woods are probably my favorite woods. I just absolutely love them. I'm looking at the stars, dozing in and dozing out, and there's no place on the planet that I'd rather be than right here on my land, sitting next to a warm fire on warm bedrock, smelling juniper. This is what life's all about. Sleep well, folks. I'll see you in the morning. I love you all. God bless you. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm so glad that the sun finally came up. Last night was a little tough last night. I'm not gonna say that I didn't sleep good, you know, and I'm not gonna say that I slept wonderful. Oh, I got a wonderful night's sleep. No, it was somewhere in the middle of being bad and good. So it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. I got some sleep. I took that little triangular bandage and put some of the same grass that I used to make my fire in here, and I made myself a little browse pillow. This worked really good. Oh, it was so comfortable to have a nice little pillow. The Mylar blanket worked very good. It was very effective for keeping the wind off of me and keeping my body's temperature radiating back in itself. The problem with the Mylar, though, I got frustrated with it in the night because every time I moved, that's what I heard. Every time the wind blew, that's what I heard. But it was effective. I did get cold at one point in the night. When the fire went out, there was a little chill that came through. I would guess probably 2 or 3 in the morning. I wasn't freezing, but I wasn't comfortable either. I was right in the middle. I got a little chill. Got up and got close to the fire again and stayed there until the fire went out. The place where I'm laying right now was very comfortable, even though it got chilly in the middle of the night. And then when the sun came up, it was fantastic. It was wonderful to see that sun come up because the temperature started to rise again at that point. So last night was definitely interesting. I learned a lot. It was a good night. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. It was good. It was a good night. This Mylar, because it made so much noise, I got mildly frustrated because it took away my situational awareness. This noise is all I heard. So I wasn't in tune as much as I would have liked to have been. I felt almost a little bit vulnerable because it's like this noise just consumed everything last night. But I bundled underneath. And another thing about the Mylar, when I'm like this, I can see right through the Mylar. So it's very cool for visual. You can be underneath it and still see what's going on. So that was cool. But the noise, oh, it drove me bonkers last night. So I'm gonna get up, and I'm very thirsty. I'm gonna have that water. I do have to pee, which is surprising because yesterday I didn't pee hardly at all. You know, it's 13 ounces is not a lot of water. Normally I drink like 10 times that amount probably. So that was the biggest challenge for me, is not having enough water to drink. But yeah, I'm glad the sun's up. Temperatures are starting to rise. The fire went out. I did burn my foot last night, my shoe. I'm not injured or hurt or anything, but I got too close to the fire at one point, and I guess a coal popped up or something and got on my shoe. Burned my shoe, a little hole in my shoe. But that's how my night was. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the day. So right there, that's where I slept right last night. Right there. And I was comfortable. It was a good spot. Had like a little rut that I was able to lay in. It was comfy. So here's my browse pillow. This triangular bandage material is pretty strong. It worked good for a pillow. I was really happy about that. Here's my other water. I'm gonna go ahead and drink. And as you can see, here's the fire pit. If we take a look at the rock. Some of the rock broke loose off of this bedrock right here. It actually got hot and broke some of this rock off. And funny thing about my shoe, take a look at that. Burned a coal right through my shoe last night. Not bad. I'm very thirsty. This is the last of the water. I finished the cookie last night. The cookie was good. The water tastes good when that's all you have. Three little swallows. That's it. 3 little swallows. That's all you get out of these. So that's what the fire pit looks like this morning. There's my little browse pillow. Can't say enough good things about that. That was a lifesaver last night. That was really nice. Now the chem light, this thing was awesome. It illuminated all night long, and it's still putting off a little tiny bit of light. This thing was nice. Worked very well. It was very, very effective. So just for the sake of the video, this is what that triangular bandage looks like after I've taken all the browse out of it. It's a pretty good little thing that they included. I really enjoyed this. It made a wonderful browse pillow. It wouldn't be bad if they put 2 of these in the kit. That was a good item, because this can be worn. You know, if you got bugs crawling around, I could see right through this. So it could be used as improvised sunglasses. If you're getting a wind and dust is flying around, you could put this over your eyes, not only as sunglasses, but eye protection to keep the sand out of your eyes. So I really like that they included this in the kit. I think it was wonderful. All 3 of these batteries are dead. This small battery bank is dead. This battery bank worked very good. It's down to like 10%. And I just got a low battery indicator on my camera. So I think it's time to start wrapping up this video. So I just got done peeing, and there's a couple things I want to talk about. One, I have a slight headache, a very mild headache. And when I peed, the amount of urine that came out was not that much. And the color of it was on the darker side. It wasn't dark, but it wasn't light. It was kind of on the dark side. So those are all signs that I'm experiencing some dehydration. Yesterday, I did a lot of hiking, wood gathering, did a lot, getting camera angles and stuff for this video. And the result of all of that, with only 3 pouches of water, under 13 ounces, I'm dehydrated. So the focus for me today is to get water back into my system, get rehydrated back up. It's very important here where I live in the Southwest, in the desert, to stay hydrated. So that is definitely the objective for the day. So I think at this point I'm going to pack up and I'm going to head back to the truck and call this video a wrap. I had a lot of fun on this video, and this kit was awesome. Some of the stuff that I have left, I have a chem light left, and I was thinking about this kit. I still have the bandages left, so I got the band-aids left, and I still have the little baggies, of course. And what I was looking for was the other little baggie that the bandage came in, because I have the safety pins left. So I got 2 safety pins, a chem light, some bandages, and my mask. That's what's left. Everything else was consumed. I did, I've got the whistle, I've got, these bags still, but the kit, for what it is, it did a good job. Now, there's a lot of things that I could probably recommend that would go in here. If you were going to buy a kit like this, I'd consider adding some things. And we could sit here and talk all day about what those things could be. And I'm not really in a super focused state of mind right now due to that dehydration. But right off the top of my head, I'm thinking, some cordage, some good maybe 15, maybe 25 feet of paracord, or even one of those survivor cord bundles would be fantastic to add to a kit like this. A knife, some kind of little full tang knife, cheap full tang knife. I'm not saying put a Essie Azula in here. I'm saying cheap full tang knife. Doesn't matter what kind of steel it is. If you can get a high carbon steel full tang knife in here, it'd be fantastic. Or just a cheap folder, just to have some kind of knife. Another thing that would be nice in here would be a better ferro rod. Even though the ferro rod that comes in here worked and I was able to get fire, I have a lot of experience making fire. So for someone who knows nothing about fire and they're going to buy a survival kit, some kind of bigger ferro rod that's going to be a little bit easier for them to strike on, I think would be effective. Another thing which I keep in my pocket, and I didn't use obviously because it was off limits for this video, would be a Mylar lens. A Fresnel lens. Sorry, my thinking is wrong because I'm dehydrated. A Fresnel lens would be really good for making fire, but if the person was a total newbie, they might not know what to do with that. For me, living here in the Southwest and I've got sun a lot of the time, this would be a good fire making device. So the list goes on of things that I could recommend adding to this. The Mylar blanket was fantastic. Even though the noise and the lack of situational awareness and all that from the Mylar, it was still a good thing to have. The material that this triangular bandage is made from, this is good material. It's almost like cloth. and it made a fantastic pillow. That was a big plus that I had all night long. So folks, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun coming out here making it. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and get wrapped up and get out of here. I could take the ash from the fire here, the coals, and make a improvised water filter. Now, if I was gonna be out here multiple days, that would be the top priority for this day too, would be turning this into a water filter. And as I explained before, there would need to be a minimum of 3 layers in here. So you'd have to have some of those ant pile rocks. If you don't have those, look at the stones down here. These stones down here can be crushed against each other and turned into small rocks that would go on the bottom layer. The middle layer, I would suggest a thick layer of compressed or crushed charcoal from the fire, a lot of it. And then on top of that, a small layer of sand. And again, to get the sand, there's sand all over in this area, but if you don't want to hike and go get out to get the sand, you can crush some of those rocks that are broken down from the fire. Crush some of those down into sand, but really the key element in filtration would be that charcoal layer. You want a good layer of that. That's the one that's going to remove a lot of the stuff out of the water. So that would be my number one priority starting off here on day 2, things like that. So with all that being said, folks, again, please take a minute and hit that thumbs up button, and please interact with me in the comments. What did you think about this Lone Wolf kit? What did you think about this dry sack? What did you think about the Mylar blanket, my experience out here? I'd love to read your comments, so please feel free to interact with me down there. I want to say thank you again for everybody watching. I love you all. I'm going to get going and get some liquid in this body. We'll talk at you on the next one. I love you all. Bye. I'm moving a little bit slow right now. Whew. Take a breather. All right. What a beautiful day. There's my truck. I sure enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys did too. It was a lot of fun. There's 2 little birds just on the other side of this little scrub right here. I gotta get through this little tiny canyon up to my truck over there. Everything's starting to wake up here in the southwest northern Arizona desert. Where'd my friends go? There's my truck. As I was hiking here, I was thinking about last night. Solo desert survival overnighter using the Lone Wolf kit. Now these are the rocks. Squirrel. These are the rocks that I'm talking about. These are perfect for a water filter. More elk droppings. Those are old. Very old. It's good to be back to the vehicle. I spent a night all by myself. Solo Northern Arizona Desert Survival Lone Wolf Challenge. Sleeping all by myself. I didn't have my little fella, my friend, oh, snake in the grass. He didn't come cuddle with me last night. I was all alone. Boy, this is wonderful. Oh, you can feel the life coming back. So this just goes to show you that it's important not just to carry the stuff with you, but have it in your vehicle. Because what if you got back to your vehicle after an experience like this, and for some reason your vehicle doesn't start? You got to have those preparations with you. I always keep my vehicle stocked with gear, with food, drinking, just for that, you know, first aid, all the stuff that I need. And when I travel in the winter time, I add candles and more blankets, no matter where I'm going. Because I always think as if I was to break down in whatever environment I'm traveling in. So I want to have the gear with me for that environment. Oh, this feels so good just drinking this orange Gatorade. It's like that little mild headache that I had. It's like feeling it lift away. It's like the life coming back into my body. It's crazy. I'm frustrated about Gatorade though, and Powerade. They used to be 32-ounce bottles. Now they're only 28 ounces, which is not cool, because when I calculate water purification by using drops and tablets and bleach and stuff like that, it's always by a US quart or 1 liter. So reducing it down to 28 ounces, it's only 828 milliliters, 1.75 pints. It's no good. I wish they'd go back to 32-ounce bottles. On a lot of trips, this Gatorade bottle is like the poor man's Nalgene bottle. They have a little bit more wider of a mouth than a standard Coke bottle. And they're a lot more durable. So these are good bottles. And if you found an item like this in a survival situation, something as simple as this little bottle is really a gold mine, because you have the ability to carry water with you. That's pretty cool. That did wonders for me. 28 ounces. I have a couple more in there, but I'm gonna just let that one settle for now. I have water in there too. My neck of the woods in the Southwest, water is crucial. Water is life. It really is. I'm gonna get on the road. I got a shotgun, a rifle, and a 4-wheel drive, and a country boy can survive.